Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm diving into one of the most stressful experiences that I've ever had as a wedding videographer. A nightmare bride story that cost me both time and money. If you want to avoid this costly mistake, stay tuned because it could very well save your wedding photography or videography business. But before we get into that, if you are new to the channel or you've watched some of my videos and haven't done this yet, please do hit the subscribe button. That way we can get this information out to more people. Like it and share the video. This video is brought to you by this very channel. If you go down in the description below, you will see a link to our shop. That's the Epic Shop, where you can get some really cool designs that I have created myself, t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, etc., to showcase your love for film and photography. Okay guys, first I'm going to tell you a story about a bride that I had a few years ago that cost me a lot of time and money. So this bride hit me up and wanted to use my company for her wedding video. And so I went through kind of my process, and just so you guys know, I charge 50% deposit to save the date, and then 50%, which is the remaining balance, is due the week of the wedding. Now, red flag number one was whenever this bride contacted me, I actually had somebody that knew her that kind of gave me a pre-warning. They said, "I know her, make sure you get paid." So that's lesson and red flag number one. They did pay the deposit, which was not a small amount of money because it is half of the final payment. So I didn't feel too sketched out by it because, I mean, they paid the final deposit. And like I said before, I get the other half 5 days before the wedding. That way I make sure that I get paid for this wedding before I even show up. On this wedding, I deviated from that because the bride messaged me about a week before and said, "Hey, we won't be able to pay you until the day of the wedding. Is it okay if we give you a check?" And I just deviated from my process and I said, "Yeah, that's totally fine. You can just give me a check that night. That'll be good." The wedding day came. I filmed the wedding. Red flag number two, I was trying to get them to write the check. That way I didn't have to bother them at the end of the night. The check did not get written until literally 11 o'clock at night, when all the vendors were cleaning up and leaving, and there were a couple other vendors that were also trying to get their checks. So that was like red flag number three, right? Anyway, long story short, I got the check. That was a Saturday, and then a Monday came and I went to my bank and deposited the check. Everything seemed to be going just fine. I deposited the check, the money was there, but then a day later the money got sucked back out because the check had bounced. I then contacted the bride, obviously, let them know about the issue, and I never heard back from her again, basically. I think she did message me a few months later asking if she could pay like $400 when they really owed like $1,700 to have the video. She said, "That's all I have. Can I please give it to you and get my wedding video?" And I just had to say no at that point. But that's the story that burned me, and I spent an entire Saturday working, and I have her footage on a hard drive right now. So that's the story, and we're going to kind of talk about now what I should have done differently and how I operate now as a wedding film business owner. And hopefully this will help you out. I want to emphasize the importance of creating systems in your business, and even though I had a system, I deviated from it, and I shouldn't have done that. So that's on me, not really on them. Of course it is on them because they didn't pay the money and they gave me a check that was bad, but you never know what people's situations are. So it's better just to stick to your policy and make sure that policy is known up front and you're very adamant about it. So nowadays, and even then, normally I would take a 50% deposit. That saves the date, and the reason I do that is because, you know, I don't want to take a 25% deposit because I want to make sure that my clients are in it to win it. Like, they want to use me, and if they're going to commit 50% of the final payment, which is going to be over $1,500 normally, then I know that they're legit and they're committed, and they know I'm committed to them because I've already got half of the payment. So it's kind of a win-win. And then, like I said, towards the wedding date, I do request the payment 5 days before. I'm a little lenient on that, but I'm not super lenient on that. If it's 2 days before the wedding, I'm on the phone with them by then, and I'm saying, "Hey, listen, I'm not coming unless I'm paid that other half, and it's for me and both of your safety as a client and owner, because I cannot commit my Saturday away from my family to be with your family if I don't know I'm getting paid." And that previous experience has made me a lot more adamant about that policy. So my tip to you guys on taking payments from a bride or a bride's family is Set a policy up. I like the 50-50. I used to do 25-75, but I like the 50-50. Set your policy up and then stick to that policy and make sure they know that the deposit is non-refundable. I have had a couple, obviously this would happen, you know, it's bound to happen, but I have had some couples that broke up and weren't engaged anymore, and they contacted me and said, hey, can we possibly get the deposit back? And in the contract, and we can go through contracts in another video if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments. In the contract, I say, no, sorry. You know, I've turned down other weddings telling them I cannot be at your wedding because I'm already booked this day. So if I was to give you the money back, I'm just losing money that day, and I might not be able to fill that spot with another wedding. So the deposit is non-refundable, no exceptions ever. Ever. I also want to hear from you guys because I know a lot of you guys have shot a ton of weddings at this point in your career. So have you ever had a nightmare bride? And you know, I have some other stories that I can tell you on another video about just day of brides that were just really difficult, but this is payment specific. Have you guys ever had an issue with a payment with your brides? If so, leave it down in the comments. We'd love to hear about your experiences, and any advice that you can give to the community about how to avoid those mistakes would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, please do like the video, subscribe, share it with anybody you know that's into photo and video, especially if they're doing weddings, and hopefully this content has brought you a lot of value. Again, I want to hear from you guys, so please go down in the comments, let me know what your experiences are. If you have any questions, you can leave them there. Once a week I do go through and I answer all questions on videos, so I'm glad to answer any questions that you have. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.